This is Vinyl Voices Radio. ESPN 97.5.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm John Newman.
Dusty Sendejas.
We are back. This is Vinyl Voices Radio here on ESPN. Hanging out here with the Mighty Orq, drinking some excellent True Anomaly beers, award-winning brewery. They won actually a lot of awards here recently.
Yeah.
But their beers are excellent. Frank's Pizza.
Pizza and beer.
Pizza, beer, good music.
Yeah. Yeah. We finally got the audience to listen to a song so they could get the vibe.
Yeah. So, like I said, the last one definitely told a story. This one here, though, I've already listened to all these, so I'm not going to give it all away just yet. But walk us through this one just a little bit.
So this song, this was like one of the, I wrote this song probably 25 or 26 years ago. And at the time, I was sort of learning slide guitar. You know, I have, you know, played electric guitar, and but I love slide. And so I was sort of working with slide. I had just learned about, because I was probably 19, so say it was like 25 years ago. And I just heard about this one particular open tuning called Open D, right? And so I was messing with that, and the way that I sort of, when I'm learning something new, the way that I most easily sort of assimilate that into my mind and my you know, hands and stuff, my muscle memory, is to like write songs and just sort of mess around and see what I can sort of make happen. So that's really where this song came from. And so that was sort of the musical or the instrumental part of it, and then the lyrics were just sort of something a little bit different, that was a little bit risque, and I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We should listen to it. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Thick as honey, twice as sweet. Should've knocked you off your feet. Wordless longing, sight unseen. Talking about the sweet in between. Searching for some kind of dream, searching for my sweet in between. Sweet in between, oh yeah. Sweet in between, oh. Sweet in between. searching for my sweet in between. Sweet in between. Oh, well. Sweet in between. Oh, sweet in between. Hey, hey. Sweet in between. Oh.
I think when we think about you, people that have followed you for a minute, we're always thinking about the guitar, you know, but like truly what John just said, and I know because the wife and I were at a show recently and we're at the bar, you know, drinking a beer and, you know, we're listening, but we're like kind of engaged with each other.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she's like, is that Kiss by Prince? And you were singing. And then we're like,
Don't have to be beautiful.
yeah.
Turn me on.
And then from that point on, but you know, again, that's like this instrument that you also have in your arsenal that's not necessarily the one that we always talk about first.
Right. Yeah. No, it's, you know, it is. To me, it's like I've worked, you know, probably just as hard at singing as I have at guitar. And you know, the thing about singing is you know, it's much more of this, it's a physiological thing. Like you can sort of I think with most instruments, if you practice enough, like you're going to be able to, you know, be at the very least proficient to very good. You know, and some people are just have this sort of genius level of technical ability with instruments, you know, with whatever instrument or multiple instruments. But with singing, you know, it's very much you are within the constraints of your physical body, because you know you can't necessarily change the, you know, how your
No
vocal
matter
cords
how
are.
high I try to hit that pitch,
Yeah,
it
you
doesn't
know.
go.
Yeah, and some people some people, you know, are like tone deaf. They can't actually like distinguish one note from another. You know what I mean? And some, you know, you don't have this range, and you can, or you know, your face, the structure, your bone structure in your face is you know, in such a way that you have this certain sound or whatever. So it's like it's really this, in my experience, because I was not trained as a singer, barely trained as a guitar player. It's very much this experience of just sort of trial and error, where you're just sort of, you know, throwing up against the wall and trial and error. You're not throwing up against the wall, hopefully, but you know, where you're just throwing stuff up against the wall to sort of see what sticks and what works best, you know, for your own sort of physical ability. And at the same time, like trying to, like the way that I learned to sing was this similar way to how I learned to play guitar, which was like I wanted to sound like, you know, singers who I love, you know. So it's like you try to do that, but it sort of gets filtered through your own physiology, you know.
Yeah. I think for this music, obviously, it's very roots oriented, you know, but I think a long time in town, people just strictly identified you as a blues man.
Yeah.
And it's more, you know, there's more to it than that, I think. But I think that, you know, there's certainly something about, you know, especially when you're playing solo shows, you know, we think about like, you know, Lightning Hopkins and these, you know, Houston blues artists that just come up with the guitar.
Well, and that's a beautiful, you know, person or group of folks to be thought of alongside. You know?
Right. But for you know, those artists too, do you think it was guitar first and then, you know, vocals next? Are you kind of you know, following in that tradition? Or what you clearly were attracted to the guitar initially and then figured I need to get some singing in here too.
Yeah, man. You know, I mean, I always loved to sing, but yeah, I was definitely when I started playing guitar, I played violin actually before I played guitar, and not really by my own choice necessarily. You know, I was like 5. I was in kindergarten. I was like 5, and they at the elementary school I went to, they offered violin lessons, and so my folks were like, "Hey, you want to play violin?" And I was like, "Sure." You know, sure. And so I did that for a while, and excuse me. So I did that for a while. We hope we can edit that belch out. I played violin for about 5 years, and you know, it was never really, you know, it was fine, and it was just fine, but I wasn't, you know, super into it. And so we had a guitar laying around the house, and so that was something that I really gravitated to when I was about, you know, 10 years old. I made the switch. And then when I discovered artists like Lightnin' Hopkins and like Robert Johnson, and B.B. King and players like that, it was something where, you know, part of me really did want to just play solo, because at the time I was trying to be, you know, be in bands and put together bands or be part of bands and stuff, and it's just it is so difficult,
right?
To, you know, the interpersonal dynamics of the 13 or 14-year-old band,
Sure.
you know, life is
Right.
is very you know, chaotic.
Yeah.
First, we're moving out.
Yeah, yeah, you know, it's,
Then we're buying a car.
yeah, like it's just like, man, you can't, you know, nobody can agree on anything. It's like, oh, we're gonna play this style of music. Oh, we're gonna play this, you know. And so I really loved the just, you know, solo guitar singer approach from the standpoint of just like some like, you know, some like emotional piece where I could like play music that I liked, you know, and not have to sort of fight anybody about it creatively. And I imagine, like, you know, players like Lightnin' Hopkins or Blind Lemon Jefferson or folks like that, you know, we're approaching it sort of from a similar, maybe utilitarian standpoint, where it's like, okay, I've got a guitar, and like, well, I'm going to sing because I'm going to tell you the story,
Right.
You know, and it wasn't, they weren't trying to sing opera or something. They were just
Right.
trying to communicate what was on their soul,
Right.
You know,
Right.
and so it's you know, from my standpoint, there was very much of that involved as well, but because I wanted to sort of be able to tell more of my story and have to sort of negotiate less artistically,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Well, that song that we listened to was Somewhere in Between.
Sweet in between.
Sweet in Between.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet in Between. About
Should we-
jelly-filled donuts, right?
That is correct.
Yes.
I love
Pick that up.
them.
Pick that up.
Yeah, that's, you know, it's like, dude, I wrote that when I was like 19 or something, and you know, I think of it, and I still play it. I mean, I still play it today, and I still like the song. You know, it's got good energy to it, you know, but lyrically, it is definitely, I think, you know, it's something that you can tell is maybe a work by a less experienced lyricist, but it still fucking rocks, man.
Yeah, it does rock.
It
You
gets,
know?
it gets what it needs done.
Your
Absolutely,
voice,
but that's it, you know.
and the thing, you know, your voice sounded so sweet on it. It was just like, it doesn't matter what. It just sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about a lot of guitar going on, and just like belting stuff out.
Yeah.
You know, the neat thing about that tune too, and like, and also Stolen, like, because I think of myself like when I think of myself as a guitar player, like I think of myself as an electric guitar player, like the conventional, like, you know, rock and roll guitar player, but those are both slide songs. I'm playing resonator guitars on both of them,
Right.
and you know, so I like that, you know, it's sort of taken this instrument that was really popularized in the 1920s and 30s and stuff, and making it, you know, I'm able to sort of use it in this you know, slightly more modern context. I don't know if rock and roll is really modern anymore, But you know, use it more in a modern way, and sort of while keeping those traditions sort of in play. I mean, that's a fun thing too, and it's always wacky too, because like I really like that tune. I really like both of those songs, and you know, just I don't think of myself as like a rezo only player, but if you like listen to that, you'd be like, oh, well, he plays resonator, you know, exclusively or whatever. And it's, anyhow, I digress. Now I'm rambling. Pardon me.
That's why I say go to the show.
Yeah,
you get to watch play like everything,
Right.
so, except for a banjo.
Except for banjo.
All right, we're gonna take another break. This is Vinyl Voices. We'll be right back.